The most popular video we've made so far asked the question, can you beat a GT4 for half the price? Well, we completed that project back in the fall of 2024, and back then it was still reasonable to try to find a nice 718S for less than $50,000. But since then, Porsche has ended production of the 718 and they don't have a replacement lined up.
We f***ed up.
Which means that those cars prematurely bottomed out in terms of depreciation. Today, you can't find a 718 base Cayman listed for less than 50 grand. Well, that raises a new question. Can you beat a 300 horsepower base 718 for half the price? One of our customers came in recently with a contender. Ronith just bought a base 981 Cayman with PDK on Facebook Marketplace, and he paid $25,000 for it. And this isn't some clapped out salvage car, it is a cream puff with 28,000 miles. He bought it to be a dailyable street car that could get him started driving on the track, and he wanted us to do a set of upgrades that would help him get the most out of it. Let's talk about the car itself. Being a 2014 means it was the first year of the 981 generation. There have now been 3 generations of Caymans, starting with the 987 in 2006, and most recently the 982, better known as the 718, that came in 2017. The 981 had a pretty short production run, and I think that's why they tend to fly under the radar. The old 987s are really cool cars and they're great to drive, but they're becoming classics at this point. That means dated interiors and more repairs, not to mention that the early cars can suffer from bore scoring and IMS bearing issues. The newer 718s went to turbocharged 4-cylinder engines, which do pack a lot of grunt, but they lack that Porsche flat 6 magic. And prices on those are holding steady. You need to bring $50,000 if you want to touch a nice one. Which brings us back to the 981, which may be the Goldilocks of the Cayman world if you're willing to accept less power to save money. With some mods, I think this car can easily keep up with a base 718 that costs twice as much, but there's only one way to find out. With only 275 horsepower and just under 3,000 pounds, this 981 is effectively a momentum car. It's got a better power to weight ratio than a Miata or a GR86, but any other modern sports car will leave it for dead on the straightaways, which means it needs to make up for that in the corners. So this project called for handling upgrades, which started with coilovers and suspension components. Ronith did a lot of shopping and research, and not surprisingly, he landed on what we think is the best value for money in the coilover game for these cars, the Öhlins Road and Track coilover kit. These retail for just over $4,000, and to get better performance, you have to go significantly higher in price. They have a really nice monotube construction and offer a single adjustment for damping. Also in the mix are some Terret camber plates, rear toe links, and sway bar end links. This setup allows us to adjust the ride height of the car and give it a more aggressive alignment, which will drastically improve the level of grip. These parts also eliminate a number of rubber bushings from the factory suspension. Those tend to deflect under load, making the handling feel less precise. This is still a street car, so we do want to be careful about making it too harsh, but as long as you're driving on reasonably well-maintained roads, I don't think this setup will compromise comfort at all. Gabe, our tech, has done a lot of these installs, and by now he's got it down to a science. If you're thinking about doing lowering springs, keep in mind that the labor install for coilovers is about the same, so that makes more sense if your factory suspension is starting to get tired. Since this car does have a sweet little flat 6, which the purists love, and it revs all the way to 7,600 RPM, Ronith thought a set of fab speed headers would be a good idea while we're in there. The car would probably need a tune to see a meaningful power improvement, but this upgrade will turn up the volume on the exhaust significantly and save some weight. With all the components installed, it was time for an alignment. Again, this is a street-driven car, so finding the balance between track performance and street manners is important. We landed on -2.5 degrees of camber in the front and a little less in the rear. In our experience, that's about the point where going any more aggressive will start to make the car feel unpleasant on the street. We took the Cayman out for a street drive to check the results. I'm excited that a young generation is getting into tracking Porsches, and the 981 is starting to look like kind of a value proposition as it gets older. And realistically, to learn how to drive on track, you don't need a ton of power. I think this is adequate, more than adequate. One of the last things you want to be thinking about when you're driving a car under kind of performance conditions is how the suspension is making you nervous, and the Öhlins kind of disappear while you're driving. The car just does what you expect it to do, so you don't really think about it, and I think that's kind of the goal. And I think it's cool that this has the old school flat six. You put an exhaust on this thing, it's gonna scream. These are cool, man. You're gonna struggle to keep up on the straights. It's the same as a Miata, right? You're just gonna be down on power compared to a lot of the cars out there. But if you know what you're doing and you've got your suspension set up and you put some sticky tires on it, you will be able to make up the difference in the corners. I feel like the 981 is being slept on a little bit.
I think that's fair. Gabe said it was his favorite looking Cayman.
They look really good. I love the look of the 987 as well. I'm also a big fan of the 718, so it's like, you know, they're not necessarily radically different from each other, but the formula of kind of modern feeling Porsche combined with the flat six, combined with you can get one cheap enough that you can afford, hopefully, to put some mods into it, and then go out and have a great time at a track day and have it be a platform that you can continue to build on. The owner, who's a young guy, told me that he's already looking for a daily so that he can make this more committed to being a performance car, which I think is really cool. The car felt great on the street, and Ronith wasted no time in taking it up to the mountains. I think he said he went straight there that night after picking the car up from the shop. And he quickly found that the old Michelins weren't up to the task, so he brought it back for a set of tires. And that speaks to something we've noticed a lot recently. Sports cars usually don't get driven that much, and as a result, there are lots of them sitting on 4 or 5-year-old tires that still have lots of tread left. Those are usually fine for normal street driving, but tires get stale with age and heat cycles, which means they offer nowhere near the level of outright grip they did when they were new. So Ronith found a set of used aftermarket wheels in GT4 sizes and asked us to source some tires that would be good for the street and able to handle some track work. He went with the Continental Extreme Contact Sport 02, which is a 340 treadwear summer tire, roughly equivalent to the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. Going to a new tire size meant the alignment needed to be updated. With a track day coming up, Ronith came back one last time. He had installed at home a set of Ferodo DS2500 brake pads, which are an ultra-high performance street pad that can handle track duty. He wanted us to do a fluid flush with racing brake fluid and install stainless steel brake lines. All of that should improve brake pedal feel and also prevent brake fade with extended lapping. The last thing you want at a track day is for your pedal to get soft when you're braking at the end of a straightaway, so now Ronith was fully ready for the track. He was signed up for a track day at Road Atlanta, but we wanted to get a shakedown in first, so we invited him out to Atlanta Motorsports Park, which is our home track and about an hour away from our shop in Roswell. AMP is a really tight technical track, so it's a great environment for a car like this to shine. And we also had Chip come out with us. Chip has a tuned 718 GTS, also on Olin suspension, that we made a video about not too long ago. I did a quick run in Chip's car just to check it out and turned a lap time of a 1:35. There's going to be an upcoming 1-lap review of that car, so keep an eye out. Ronith was kind enough to let me drive his car for a longer session, and I found that the 981 was really fun and capable and gave me the confidence to push it hard. It's a very different driving experience from a tuned 718.
Feels great. Feels really, really good. It's like a baby GT4. Oh, it sounds amazing, dude. Dude, I'm jealous. This thing's awesome. Yeah, the suspension is so planted, it just gives you a ton of confidence. The chassis is just so good. It like, can't believe this is a base car. $137? Damn. I love, like, the motor is so excellent. It sounds beautiful. I love the Öhlins Road and Track. I think they're so perfect for this kind of car that's gonna still be driven on the street. Base 981 Cayman, who'd have thought?
And with only 275 horsepower, you quickly find yourself in a mode of trying to extract everything you can out of the car. My first flyer was a 139, but after a couple more laps, I was able to extract a 137 with Ronith as my passenger. As a tool to learn performance driving, I think the base 981 is actually pretty incredible. And as a platform for upgrades, it's even better. Ronith took the car out to Road Atlanta, and he had a great time. He's already talking about bucket seats and 200 treadwear tires, and those are absolutely the next set of upgrades I'd recommend. Can you beat a 718 with a base 981? Absolutely. Can you do it for half the price? Deals are still out there for now.